Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between mouzThorzain and MVPKeen. This is game 2 of a best of 5. It is the final of the MSI Pro Cup number 8, and boy has it been a good tournament. Please go and check out the other games if you haven't seen it. At the point of recording this, I've already done the quarterfinals between Thorzain and Nurchio. I've done the semi-finals of Show and Thorzain, and also the semi-final of mouzThorzain. And this is, as I said, the best of 5 final. This is game 2. If you haven't seen game 1, please go and check it out. Pause now, otherwise spoilers are going to be incoming. So just click the pause button because I'm too excited to wait. So Keen took game 1 in an amazing tank move, though getting that siege earlier just allowed him to go and completely roll over Thorzain. He got an amazing position. Thorzain went for really early kind of marines, mass marine pressure with combat shield, and it didn't pay off at all. The tanks just demolished the army along with the Hellions, and then King just went for it. He just went and won. And I mean, he even got a bunker up in Thorzain's main. That is how dominating, how much Keen dominated Thorzain. So that was pretty nice. Now taking a look here, obviously Shakura's Plateau, good map. I think both players will get their natural down pretty damn easily just because of this narrow ramp. And then it's really where do they choose to go? Do they choose to go for this third close to their main, which kind of has 2 attack angles, or do they choose to spread out more? And really that makes it more difficult with tanks, because obviously you've still got to defend all this area, or you can move forward, or there's just so much you can do. So I like Shakura's Plateau. I would actually say, would it be my favourite map? I don't. Saying a favourite map is a big commitment. That's like, it's my favourite. I don't know, but just get the picture. I really, really like Shakura's Plateau as a map. I think it is a fantastic map with lots of interesting things that can happen. Anyway, we will see that both players go out to scout. Having said that though, Thorzain is going to get the scout first. Keen has gone the wrong way, but it doesn't matter because the wall-off's complete, so neither player are going to be able to get in the base to scout anything. And we will see that Keen has got the 1 gas down, so has Thorzain though, so both players going for incredibly similar builds, and wow. I'm just looking forward to this. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see who wins this tournament. Both players have had some really stunning games coming up to this final, and both played really, really amazingly. And also, it's a load of TvTs to cast. My channel has been kind of lacking on TvT games, so I'm glad to be able to do quite a few. This SCV is going to die. There's no other way of putting it. It's just going to die a horrible death. But Thorzain's does go back. So if you look, 50 resources lost already by Keen. So Thorzain already ahead. Could that be a sign of what's to come? And we will see a Reaper coming out for Keen, and that could be very, very strong. Meanwhile, no kind of interesting things going on apart from the factory coming down and a second gas as well. So Thorzain could actually be going for Cloak Banshees or just Banshees alone. Who knows? We will wait and see. Meanwhile, Keen, he's not got his second gas, so I don't think we'll be seeing any crazy tech play, especially not now we have got this command center coming down. So Keen is going for that early expand build. He's going to use the Reapers for the map control and just to do some harassment in order to get this natural base up super quickly. And I mean, that could be really, really effective. And he's actually going this kind of back route into the base, but there are marines there already, so that Reaper is going to have a nasty surprise when he does get down here. And if it is kind of not controlled perfectly, it could just flat out go down. And we will see here that the starport is on the way along with the tech lab, so as I thought, they're going to get switched very, very quickly, and that will indicate that we're going to see Banshees come out. And now there's 4 marines here. If this Reaper isn't exceptionally careful, he is flat out going to die, and there we go. So that Reaper didn't last very long, and the next one will hopefully be a bit more lucky, choosing to go for a slight different path into the natural, but obviously no natural base there yet. Having said that though, here comes down the SCV. If we look at the resources, there are quite a few kind of sitting around waiting, and Thorzain has got Cloak on the way, so Cloak Banshees are going to be incoming, and Thorzain is just tempting me. I'm waiting with the camera here, Thorzain. Build the command center, thank you. So there we go, the command center is on its way down, and this Reaper is just kind of kiting around, has taken some damage already. Great control with the marines by Thorzain, and he's going to take that Reaper out. No, the Reaper survives with 2 HP, so that Reaper is incredibly low on health, and did manage to get 1 marine, but really that hasn't paid off as well as he might have liked. Keen is just getting out double reactor barracks and an engineering base, so Keen looks like he's going to be going for that mass marine build that Thorzain went in the last game and actually failed with. And a big scan goes off. We'll see that starport, and that is huge. So obviously he now knows that that Banshee is incoming and can expect cloak. Does he have any energy remaining for a scan? Yes, he does. His main base does have the energy for the scan to deal with that cloak if needed. And I mean, this is going to be super, super good. A missile turret is being built at the natural base as well. That'll give detection, and that bunker will basically just force that Banshee to be a bit careful with where it is positioned. And a couple of SCVs may actually get picked off, and they're all just sitting around to keep building that missile turret, because the second that's down, there's nothing else that is going to be able to happen, and the Banshee is just going to survive. So with 2 HP, what is it with 2 HP? There was something else. The Reaper survived with 2 HP. Anyway, Thorzain's base is down now, and obviously Keen has got his missile turret up, so he's pretty well defended from this. And he's actually getting up a factory now as well. But look at the amount of Marines coming out. Stim is half done for Keen as well. Thorzain, well, he's getting his 3rd and 4th gas. He's getting some more factories on here. 2 more factories onto his 1 already. So Thorzain going for a bit of a mech build here, it does appear. Keen, meanwhile, just moving forward, and all of those Marines are lined up, but there's just too many, and they're going to do big damage. Thorzain getting out a Raven as well, so obviously that Raven will give detection, also the point defense drone, etc. So that could be quite good. Repairing the Banshee up, obviously essential to repair your key units, because then you just get more out of them if they can't get sniped down easily. Repair is a great utility for the Terran player, which unfortunately a lot of players, especially in lower leagues, don't utilise it for their mech army. But it's a very, very useful tool. Anyway, there are a factory and a starport, so I'd expect those to switch because there was a reactor on the factory, and obviously double medevacs at a time will complement this very, very heavy Marine army. And the Marines are just running in. Stim is about to finish, and if that Banshee isn't careful, it's going to go in range of the missile turret. And I mean, once it's detected, that could be huge problems. There we go, and that is straight down. Very, very quickly falling. And I mean, Keen is in a great spot here. If we take a look, that was something. I believe that was the Reaper just died. A horrible death. But if we take a look, it's 40 to 38 SCVs, so pretty damn even. Upgrade wise, well, we've got Stim done already for Keen. He's getting that +1 infantry weapons, getting that concussive shell, and it's getting some Marauders out as well. Meanwhile though, for Thorzain, he doesn't have any upgrades because he's going mech. He's just getting Blue Flame and getting 2 tanks at a time, but hasn't even started siege mode yet. So really, that was Thorzain's downfall in game 1, was he didn't have siege mode at all, and that allowed Keen just to move his tanks up and siege up, and it was a nightmare. And using the Banshee here, Thorzain, good little trick there, using the Banshee to gain vision of the high ground for the Hellions to roast some Marines. And this Banshee is just kind of floating around, trying to find something he can pick at, but obviously there's missile turrets nicely positioned everywhere, and Keen just getting ready to build his 3rd base as well. And meanwhile, no sign of a 3rd base yet for Thorzain. Thorzain is running off 4 gas, though, is getting siege mode out now as well, getting some Vikings to deal with any air that Keen may have, get those medevac numbers down. But having said that, here comes Keen. He has got quite a decent army, and I mean, those Hellions are looking like they could take some damage pretty damn quickly, but Thorzain has them selected and is just going to go for it, and that's quite brave because there is obviously that Marauder there. Concussive shell is done, and Stim is also finished, so this infantry for Keen is very, very strong. +1 is about to finish as well, so Keen looks like he was planning on, may still be planning, may not be planning. Basically, I thought Keen was going to use that +1 finishing as a timing attack, but it looks like he's not, and siege mode still is done for Thorzain, but not for Keen. Keen is getting that +1 Terran armor as well, and infantry armor rather, and a great siege up. And I mean, Thorzain can just now very methodically move across the map, and Keen's going to have a hard time dealing with it because he doesn't have tanks of his own to hold this position as of yet. The first one is just rolling down, but of course siege mode still has about 20 seconds before it finishes, and that could be a bit of an issue. Keen is actually even behind in supply. Thorzain just playing this very, very methodically, getting his own 3rd base up now, has a Banshee there, is getting, I believe, 2 tanks at a time, yep. The 3rd base is, however, finished for Keen, and Keen is moving forward with this 1 tank. Siege mode is done for Keen as well, and it's all about the positioning, but there are 4 tanks here for Thorzain. And where are the Vikings? I know there were some Vikings, I just don't know. Ah, there they go. Here come the Vikings, which will be able to deal with the medevacs, and a drop coming down for Keen as well now. Everything is just going to be going on now. I can just tell it's going to be one of those games where I need to be in 3 places at once, and I just unfortunately can't. And those Hellions darting forward, they are taking quite a bit of damage, but none do go down. The Blue Flame incredibly effective though. Thorzain getting the +1 vehicle and vehicle plating upgrade. This drop has gone down to nowhere. a bit peculiar, and Keen is just being very careful with his positioning of his army, and ThorzaIn actually choosing to move back just to get a good defensive position for this third base. Having said that though, Keen looks like he's going for a different position. Now, this really is interesting, both players choosing the different third expansion position, and here comes this drop in for Keen. Meanwhile, he's moving his main army through as well. I don't think this drop has been scouted as of yet, so it could do quite a nice bit of damage. Meanwhile though, Keen just moving forward, obviously those point defense drones being very, very helpful, and so many Marines fall. I mean, Keen is taking huge damage. Having said that though, a Marine drop going down at the back of the natural. Those tanks are taking huge damage on both sides, but I do believe that, I mean, well, Keen definitely came off in favour there. The Vikings will clean up that medevac, but the siege tank splash actually doing a lot of damage. Now, how did that really turn out? Well, 13 workers killed by Keen. If we look at the loss tab, obviously in favour of ThorzaIn, ThorzaIn's lost effectively 1,000 less resources, which obviously very useful. But if you look at Keen, he's just repumping out stuff. He has got 1-1 done, getting +2 Terran infantry weapons, +1-1 for Terran vehicles on the way for ThorzaIn. A sensor tower coming out, double upgrades coming out for Keen as well. I really like double upgrades. Upgrades are essential. The Viking count at 4, now 6. A lot of tanks there for ThorzaIn as well. And Keen's infantry heavy army might have a tough time dealing with this mech army if it does get too sizable. So I'd expect to see quite a lot of drops, but this sensor tower placement, brilliant, will just show any drops coming into the main base from any position. And obviously the third base is covered by this ground army, another sensor tower coming out as well. And this Banshee was going to try and pick off a tank, won't be able to do it, and I mean, both players are playing this very interestingly. And actually Keen going for a Thor. Where is that Thor coming out? So Thor coming out for Keen. ThorzaIn is getting another starport coming out, getting quite a few missile turrets. A good forward, just generally moving those tanks forward. A drop is coming down here though, and it will get cleaned up by the Vikings, but not before a couple of tanks are taken out. Some Hellions looking like they could go down as well, but obviously Hellions even good against Marauders, it would appear, in high enough numbers. And another Hellion does fall, so not awful there. And meanwhile, ThorzaIn just looks like he's using that Banshee incredibly effectively to force Keen back. This is a real strategic battle going on here. Both players are on those 3 bases. The worker count pretty much equal. Everything's so close, and the Thor is moving out. So, can we go to say it? No, I can't go to say Thor is here. But anyway, they are just moving forward. Both players pretty equal on supply. This is really damn close. Very different tactics from both players. 2-2 upgrades for Terran vehicles just coming out for ThorzaIn now. 2-2 infantry upgrades are finished though for Keen pretty much. So he's going to have an upgrade advantage. That Thor doing huge damage to the Banshee. Obviously Banshee is light, and the Thor's anti-air attack does bonus damage to light units. And this looks like it's gearing up to be a huge drop, just skirting around that sensor tower as well. And is Keen going to load this up? Keen has also just started his 4th base as well, I should point out, and I'm just interested to see whether this is going to get loaded up. I imagine it would, but he has to be careful because that sensor tower will pick up absolutely everything, and I mean, just a couple of units going into the sensor tower range there will give away exactly what Keen is planning, and ThorzaIn is repositioning. The 4th base for ThorzaIn has now finished, and we've kind of reached this stalemate position here at the moment where really ThorzaIn has his 3rd base up nicely. It's nicely defended, getting 2 more command centers there as well, because if you've done anything from the semi-final, there's a drop off here as well. Or was that just a run through? Either way, a lot of Hellions came in here. I did not notice them. They will get cleaned up, but how much damage did they do? Apparently quite a lot. So obviously that was a very effective push there, and if we take a look, that has knocked down Keen's SCV count very significantly. And here comes a drop in now for Keen, and obviously Keen's just kept 1 Marine here to prevent it. Meanwhile, an engagement coming in the middle, a lot of Vikings, so really ThorzaIn has a good position here. He's got a lot of Vikings, but there isn't really much air for Keen. Huge tank splash going off for both players, although it looks like ThorzaIn is just completely dominating this battle. Having said that though, those Marauders moving forward, going to pick up some tanks, a lot goes down. Meanwhile, the drop for Keen there has just stopped in its tracks, which is quite surprising. If he got that off during that engagement, it would have been super effective because it would have forced ThorzaIn to really split his army. But because he got to keep it all together, he was fine. At the same time though, I mean, Keen is now moving forward with this kind of side army, trying to get a flank around. Meanwhile, there is a drop going down in the natural base. that missile turret is going to nearly take out the medevac, and there are 2 tanks sieged up, so that drop will get cleaned up very, very easily. At the same time, Keen is running in with a lot of marauders, a lot of marines, and those 2 siege tanks. And as the scan does go off, the 1 tank sniped down very quickly, a 2nd tank goes down exceptionally quickly as well. All the tanks basically just falling super, super fast. And I mean, Keen has got a great position here, picking off some missile turrets, got a good siege up, and that can be quite difficult to deal with. 1 tank does go down, that other tank not in range, and really, I mean, Keen is picking up a lot of stuff. In the middle though, ThorzaIn is using this as an opportunity to move forward, and Keen is just picking off a couple of supply depots, a couple of refineries, trying to do any damage he can, and a lot of tanks here for ThorzaIn are moving forward, trying to get a good siege up, and they will be able to take out that tank super quickly, and I don't even think 1 tank will go down from ThorzaIn, and ThorzaIn is in a great spot. He's, well, call it 40 supply ahead, but this 4th base is up and running for Keen. The 4th base for ThorzaIn is behind these rocks, so having to build its own SCVs. If we look at the work account, that's not at all what I wanted to do, press the wrong button there. If we look at the work account, we will just see that, well, it's 64 to 55, so not too much different. ThorzaIn's drop was cleaned up pretty damn easily, and a big drop coming out for Keen here as well. And these Vikings are moving away from where the drop is incoming, but the Hellions are on their way up, and wisely just changing the positioning, and those Hellions are going to come up and scout all of this. They will go down though, but it, of course, does give ThorzaIn the information he needs to be able to react to it. This 4th base really, really helping here. Obviously, the 4th base for Keen there, not too useful. The tanks are being used to take out the rocks, so an SCV transfer can occur. And really, this is pretty close. ThorzaIn is a good amount of supply ahead though, so really that's his benefit. Now, a stim forward here, a drop on top of the tanks is very, very effective, causing them to splash each other. And this is a lovely, lovely play by Keen, and it's going to clean up all of this middle ground and take the middle of the map back. Is huge. He did lose quite a lot, but it does give him this lovely siege position that ThorzaIn will have a tough time trying to take back. He'd take significant losses, but only 2 tanks there at the moment, so really, if ThorzaIn goes for it, which he's just scanned so knows he can take out all of this very, very quickly and retake the centre of the map. And that's really what it's all about, is who controls most of the map. And a drop simultaneously going down here for Keen. Just going to snipe out this 4th base if he can, but obviously the medevac is going to go down exceptionally quickly to those 4 Vikings, and the rest of the drop will get cleaned up before it has a chance to do anything more. There is this dropship up here, but there's nothing in there. Tank sieged up for ThorzaIn in the middle, and this is all pretty awesome. And those Hellions trying to sneak in, but the Marauders will be able to finish off. But they don't. They leave it just alive, although a bit of AI pathing error there prevents it from moving any more forward. And what else is going on? We've got, well, a dropship being stalked by a dropship. So a scouting dropship for ThorzaIn there will see Keen's dropship, which is attempting to drop. And ThorzaIn's still ahead in supply. He's got, his tank count is super high. He's also getting 3-3 upgrades for his tanks, and obviously all of his vehicles. 2-2 is done for Keen rather, but he isn't getting that +3 armor yet. He is about to finish +3 weapons, and these Marauders are moving forward, are going to snipe down those tanks super, super quickly. 2 go down. Is our 3rd one going to fall as well? Not quite, just survives, and but still 3 units, well, not 3, but very, very cost-effective engagement for Keen there. He wants to keep this tank number down. If too many tanks get out on the field for ThorzaIn, it's going to be a nightmare. A big drop went down at that south position while that was getting cleaned up, and I mean, it looks like Keen is just going to go for it, and he might be able to pick up quite a few Hellions. Obviously, the Vikings will quickly deal with the medevacs, but it looks like Keen is just going to push forward. He's going to get 1 tank, 2 tank. If he gets 3 tanks, that would be amazing. He may even get 4. Wow. So Keen, that was an amazing engagement for him, and a bit of a slip up there by ThorzaIn. Meanwhile, we've got multi-prong attack coming in from Keen here, a good scan off on the ground units there, and obviously Keen is just moving in, and he's getting ready for a massive, massive attack from 2 positions. This kind of side army coming in for a flank, and obviously this big frontal assault as well. Having said that, is there anything really else going on? No, ThorzaIn is kind of backed into a bit of a corner now. I'd say kind of, well, 3/4 of the map is definitely Keen's, and ThorzaIn has somehow got to deal with that. He needs to start spreading out, because sure, he's got those 4 bases at the moment. This one is quite vulnerable though, as we've seen already. And I mean, if we take a look at the work account, 62 to 51, and a big engagement coming in from Keen here. great flank, and is just cleaning up everything. And wisely, it looks like Keen is just going to pull back. He did huge damage there, and is now just running away, which is exactly what you want to do. So many players overcommit to an attack, think, well, I might be able to win here, let's go. But that's not what you want to do. You want to pick off bits of army you can, get those quick, easy wins where you don't take much losses, and then just kind of regroup and kind of attack at a different angle. And that is exactly what Keen's going to do, and Thorzain will get the scan off. But, I mean, this command center is going to go down almost instantly. So that fourth base does now go down for Thorzain. Obviously, that means that now Keen is 2 bases ahead, about to be 1 base ahead, because obviously this command center is going into land. And, I mean, there's just so many orbital commands for Thorzain that he can keep up in income with mules. Having said that, though, I mean, what else is happening? I believe 3-2 upgrades for Keen to 3-3 upgrades for Thorzain's mech army, and another little movement in here of a couple of marines and marauders, as well as that medevac. They will be, those marines just instantly die. I mean, 25 damage per shot from those Hellions there is absolutely huge, although it will get cleaned up. And meanwhile, we've got big engagement coming in here. Another drop onto the tanks. I love Keen's use of medevacs to drop units onto the tank line. And, I mean, so much got cleaned up. Keen is now, what's that, 60 food ahead, and another command center is going to fall, and he's just kind of running forward now. And Thorzain is so far out of position. He's got nothing in that dropship. Just keep checking that. And it looks like Keen is just going to go straight in for the main base. He's going to drop stuff down. That medevac might fall though before it gets everything out, but that doesn't matter because there's just so much stuff here. The Vikings do come in, but I mean, look at this, and up in the top position as well. Keen is just moving forward, and there's the GG from Thorzain. So, wow, that was an impressive game by Keen. That does put him 2 up on Thorzain. So if he wins this next game, he's going to take a 3-0 in a best of 5. So impressive play by Keen there. I hope you did enjoy. Tune in for game 3. Obviously subscribe to my channel, like the video if you enjoyed the game, and obviously follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and well, flick over to part 3.